Right, so welcome to this video on how to make Roblox pets. I have a reference for mine, which you do not, but if you want to screenshot this, that's fine. I paid for it. So the way I normally approach it is I will make a UV sphere and I will set it to 16 by 8. And then if I press Alt X to go into X-ray mode, I will just roughly size it to that kind of bottom section. So the goal is to start with. I use proportional editing if it's like a teardrop type of shape, just so I can start pinching bits around. So I'm just trying to match the reference in terms of shape as much as I can. Obviously, I don't have as many polygons, but that's fine. Like so, easy. Then I just shade smooth. So the thing that's going to set you apart from most of the other artists on Roblox is your ability to confidently vertex paint. So most people when they're making pets, they will either chuck it into Substance Painter and then texture it there, making a unique texture for per pet, which is fine. But if you've got 100 pets in your game, that means you've got 100 meshes plus 100 textures. And then it has to preload them or load them as you're playing. Or some people use like the default gradient sheet and then just UV according to gradients to give themselves nice gradients. So the benefit of doing Roblox pets in vertex painting is that we're going to be assigning color data to the actual vertices, which ultimately means that once we import the mesh, the colors will already exist. So it's not actually any extra memory. It's just there. So games like Race Clicker do this really well. Right. So what we want to do, if I hold 5, I'll have vertex paint pop up. So if I was just to start painting these colors, we can see that I can only actually paint on the vertices. So we can't paint on faces, for example. So I will duplicate my concept. I will go into vertex paint. And I also want to make sure that I'm in flat, and this is changed to attribute. I'm just going to turn them off, just so it is flat. Right, so eye drop. I want to get the blue and press backspace. That will color my entire mesh. I change the color again to this blue, so the bottom. And I want it so I can see the wire. Then I will start painting over the vertices where them darker sections are, like so. Very easy. And then I will color pick again, and I'll change this to a lighter blue to kind of do the top of the cone, and then brush around here. And then all we need to do, we now have blur, so I can start going to the bits where it's really sharp from dark blue to light blue. Just start blurring the vertices together, like so. And I'll do the same on the top, just so there is an actual transition as opposed to the color drastically changing each time. Right, so once I'm happy, I will duplicate it, so Control D, and then I will hide my duplicate. So if you're doing evolutions by duplicating it, it makes it a lot easier, instead of making the shape from scratch every time. And I want to delete half of my pet. Basically, I'm just going to get a knife tool, so K on the keyboard, and I'm just going to draw around the eye shape. So while you're doing this, it's important to try and stay consistent in your gappings, like the distance between each step. You'll have a really smooth eye at the bottom and then a really blocky eye at the top. No one wants that. Boom. So from the front, that's fine. From the side, there's some bits that have gone a bit wacky, so I can use vertex slide just to fix the shape up a little bit, as well as if I wanted to, I can use snapping to face, which means that I can just drag these around the face just to get a nice bend. And once done that, I do the same thing on the inside. So I do my little, again, my cuts. Like so. Boom. Right, so if I select these bits in the middle, which I know are going to be white, and then switch back to vertex mode, at the very top, there's two tools. So we've got face and edge or vertex selection. If I go back to my brush and set it to white, boom, boom. No, that didn't go to plan. Oh, here we go. Boom. And then press backspace. It will color that bit in white. So now I can select all of these bits. Go into vertex paint. Again, color pick, set it to black. So already we got a very basic finished pet. Then I can just mirror it on the y-axis. We've got our Roblox pet. So you'll notice in this concept we've also got this kind of blue outline that's going around it. I'm not going to bother doing these bits. It's the same technique, so you just knife cut it out. So if I bring up my duplicated version, duplicate again, so I've got a duplicate of my duplicate, and then just make it slightly bigger. Go into vertex paint, color pick that blue, backspace, and then if I flip the faces and turn on back face color, you can see I've got the exact same. And then literally all we need to do is apply this, join it all together, export it. So when we're exporting for Roblox, you want to make sure that it's set to 0.01 for the scale. Then if I go into Studio, and if I go to View Asset Manager, press the little bulk upload button once everything's loaded. And then I'm just going to find my Roblox pet and import it. Click and drag it into my scene. And then if I set this to neon, so if you think it's too bright, you go into color, just dial it down more towards gray values. And there you got a basic Roblox pet that looks relatively nice. All of these pets over here that I had done for Race Clicker, the exact same process has been followed. So just vertex painting, obviously they're a bit more complex than the one that we just made, but some of them take ages, and some not so long. The ones like the parrot with a collar, they obviously take a bit longer. But vertex painting, very underused in my opinion. All of these as well, which were for sword fighting sim, they're also vertex painted. All the mounts for sword fighting sim that I done, vertex painted. Some of the bikes for bike hobby, vertex painted. So for the most part, all the stuff I do, apart from the stuff I've done for Blade Ball, is vertex painted. It is very much worth your time to learn. I'll do some more videos on it at some point.